Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to History of Rap. I'm your host, Bryce Shepard. This is episode 5, I think. Let me check. Episode 5. Today I got a good one. Alex Garcia from New Age Customs in Philadelphia. We sat down and talked for about an hour or so. It was kind of very informal, probably the most informal conversation I've had yet, but it was good. Meeting Alex for the first time over the call, and getting to know him and figuring out kind of. We talked about how he got through COVID, how he started, kind of what he does now, and things like that. So really good conversation. Hope you guys stay in there and stay tuned and check that out. A couple things up top. Want to remind you all of Rap Fam Unleashed. This episode is brought to you by Rap Fam Unleashed. It is the only monthly magazine dedicated to the vinyl rap industry, delivering the latest updates, trends, and expert insights on rap and installation. So check that out at therapfam.com. Read it, consume it, regurgitate the stuff that you learn. That's fine. Whatever you need to. Ruggs is great. He's been fantastic, and again, we love him, and we love the guys over at Rap Fam Unleashed, and continue to support us and things like that. So, what else we got? Off the top, I guess if you don't ask, you don't get. So I can, this is number 5. I know that I've been kind of MIA for a while and had um, some downtime between episodes and things like that. Unfortunately, just, life gets in the way sometimes, and that's okay. I don't get paid for this, and I provide it completely free for everyone out there to enjoy and consume. So the only ask that I I the only ask from you, the listener or the watcher, that I could ask for is to leave me a review on whatever you're listening or watching. Share it with your friends, comment, do all the things, because that's how the show is going to continue to grow and get better, and we can get better guests on, or more guests. And I won't say better guests because that would be a slight to the guests that I've already had on. And all the guests have been great. But anyway, share it, listen to it, watch it, post it, review it. Feedback is welcome. And again, like previously, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, just hit me up at historyofrap@gmail.com with the subject line guest, and I'll be in touch. I do have a couple. I got another one in the bag that I have to edit and put out. Hopefully I'm going to put that out next week. Next week being, let's give a date here. Today's the end of March, so it'll be April. What day is that? 7th, 6th, something like that. Whatever Monday that falls on. So that's when I hope to put it out. Usually Mondays. Usually the episodes drop on Mondays. I was a little late in recording this intro. So I'm getting that done now for this one. And then, like I said, I have one in the bag, and I'm hoping to record a few more with some well-known people in the industry and some not well-known people in the industry who, contacted me and said, "Hey, I'd love to sit down and chat." And I was like, "Let's do it." Um, so again, this episode, Alex Garcia of New Age Customs in Philadelphia. I do want to point out, I do want to kind of not really give a warning or anything like that. It's nothing bad. Everybody that comes on the show, we have very candid conversations, and wherever it goes, it goes. And I try not to direct it in any particular direction. And everyone has their own opinion, and it has a right to their own opinion. So nothing's wrong, nothing's right. I don't take sides on anything. The opinions of the people that I talk to, I don't necessarily always agree with, but I don't always disagree with. So I'll just leave it at that. I try to stay positive on every episode and with every conversation that I have. So just, keep that in mind, I guess, when you're listening. Um, Again, I had a very great conversation with Alex. He's still relatively new to the industry. Um, but is from what I gathered is doing a really good job in Philadelphia, has great clients, and has a nice nonprofit organization that he and one of his partners are, put together, and they give back in their local community, which I thought was great. So again, check that out. And without further ado, here is my conversation with Alex Garcia of New Age Customs. Check it out.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Can I know I'm so sorry. I'm literally 2 minutes away from my house. Is it okay if
Yeah, that's all right.
I didn't realize that the what's it called? That the meeting was on because I didn't get any message until I saw my emails
Oh,
and I saw the link, yeah. Because I was supposed to get the message from the other one, right? From the other email you said?
maybe I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't see the no email from that one.
Okay,
And then this message that the link was in like in my junk folder for some reason. I don't know why.
that's all right.
But
Um,
yes. Yeah, I'm
cool.
literally like 2 minutes away.
Yeah, no problem. How do I while I got you? How do I sound? I feel like I'm echoey.
No, you're actually great, man. You're
Do I
actually great.
sound do I
Yeah.
sound clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, it could just be on my end. Hopefully, it's just on my end.
No, no, you sound good. Um. Yeah, I'll just be there in like 2 minutes. Is it?
Okay.
Should I hang up or should I?
No, no, no. We can. That's fine. Or if you want to, if you want to.
No, 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 it's fine. I mean, we could start right now if you want. That's fine. Let me just get to my house. I'm actually driving right now, and I'll turn on my camera.
Oh no. Well, shit. Don't worry about that. I mean, it's dark and everything. So, but I mean, I haven't done any kind of like homework or anything on you. I was just like, let's talk.
Oh, okay. That's great.
So, but you're so just to start. I mean, well, I'll kind of mess, I guess, mess with the editing and everything. But just like little background. So you're in. You said you were in New Jersey.
Yes. So I live in New Jersey, but my shop is in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Yes. My name is Alex Garcia. Just for your audience, so everyone knows, my name is Alex Garcia. I'm 31 years old. I've been doing vehicle vinyl wraps for 13 years now.
Okay.
I started right after high school when I was 18, and I've been in business for 5 years.
Okay. Was that something when you said you started right out of high school? Did you was that when did you just kind of like happen upon a job like in a sign shop or something like that, or like how did you get started?
Yes. So my friend, one of my friends, at that time, he was working for a sign shop in Freehold, New Jersey, and during summer they get like slammed doing signs, doing letterings, stickers, whatever they needed to do. So he's like, hey, listen, what do you do after school, or you want to help us out? We're open till like 7 or 8 if you want to. You want to work part time? So I was like, sure, let's do it. What is it? And he's like, yeah, we do wraps, we do lettering. And at the time, I honestly thought that all the marketing vehicles or commercial or advertising was paint. So I didn't even know that there was like a whole world of rap out there. So I was
Right.
like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. Once I stepped into the shop, I honestly fell in love with it.
Uh,
Um, I was fascinated.
So what was your when you got started, what was your like what was it like for you when you first got introduced to it? I mean, when you're I mean, obviously like, putting a two-dimensional sticker or something on something three-dimensional is one thing, but like if you're starting with, flat signage and things like that and or did you jump right in on cars and vehicles and things like that?
No, no, I honestly started at the what's it called production room, pretty much reading
Okay.
stickers, doing little signs like those yard signs, the ones that for landscaping companies or for like what's it called realtors, like doing signs like
Mhm.
that. Because at that time also it was very very expensive to own one of those big printers to that would actually print on the chloroform, right?
Right.
So we were doing them by vinyl or by hand with the lettering and stuff. So I started that. And yeah, from time to time I would clean up the area for the installer, which was my friend. I was like, hey, listen, man, I'll clean up for you. No worry, I'll put your tools like right next to you. And then it got to a point where I was like, hey, listen, you really want to learn this? I'll teach you if you want here and there after work. After you're done with whatever you got to do, I'll teach you how to do a hood here and there and all that stuff. Or like I'll teach you how to do like commercial, how to line it up. And yeah, no, but at the very, very beginning, it was pretty much reading stickers, doing little signs. After 6 months, it was, hey, well, we got a van and we need your help and we need to do some lettering. So it's like, okay, cool. And that's how I started that way.
Started with like decaling, decaling like plumber vans and things like of that nature.
Yeah, I was in my head. I was like, yeah, I'll probably wrap a Lamborghini to be the first car and all that. But no, it was a rude awakening. It was
Hmm.
pretty much like rusted plumbing vans. What's it called? And all those old vans that 250s or 350s.
Yep. Yeah, it's never quite as luxurious as you think it's going to be, especially starting off. You do anything to pay the bills or to make ends meet, and you just kind of work. Whatever the job. If you're going to stick something on, it doesn't matter what you're sticking it on. You're just going to do it. So but if that's so, is that something that you focus on now? Is more like luxury and like color changes and things like that, or are you more commercial?
I do it both. I do both, to be honest with you. I do commercial. A lot of shops around my area subcontract me because like they get their hands on a lot of work, but sometimes the staff is not like enough for them. So I do commercial, and a lot of I focus more on color change, which
Okay.
is my how do you put it? It's mainly um color change at my shop at the moment.
So are you solo installers? Like, you sole proprietor? Is it just you, or do you have anybody with you, or what?
Yes, at the moment, yes. What's it called? It's just me. But I also so the shop that I'm working at right now is it's like we kind of did like a merger, if you want to put it that way. But it kind of like he brings his customers too, and I bring my customers, and we split the profit because we partner up on the vinyl side at least.
Okay.
So that was the end thing. Um, so whenever it came to when vinyl wraps and stuff, it was just um it's like, all right, we'll split 50-50 on the vinyl wraps on your end and my end.
So you have a business partner that you're working with.
Yes.
Okay.
But mainly I do the all the wraps pretty much.
Okay. So
Yes.
tell me, so that's kind of like one of the things that I hear most often, people wanting to get into the rap game, and they want to get their hands on vehicles, and they want to do installing, and they want to do color changes. You said you've been in business for 5 years. So when you got started, what was it like for you? Like, what route did you take?
So I got very, very lucky that what's it called? There was like a little garage, like two
Hmm.
bays pretty much, and it was under another house, and it was 750 a month, and just kind of like um get rolling. So I had to go to um a lot of shops too to try to get connections when they needed help. I did a lot of freelancing at the time based on to kind of like at least meet ends meet for the rent and the utilities and the bills.
Hmm.
Um, but not all the clients come, when you first start. Not all the
Right.
clients are lining up for you out everything.
Right. So how did you combat that, getting your name out there? How did you combat, like, you said you did some contract work and you worked freelance and things like that. I'm assuming you probably worked for other shops, or filling in where you needed to, but how did you go about getting your name out there? I mean, this is a time, you said 5 years ago. So this is COVID, pre-COVID when you're starting, or right in the middle of it? And,
Yes.
and I mean, from my own experience, like rapping never slowed down. All the shops in my area, like they had big booms during COVID, which was kind of weird. Um, you know, eh, but people didn't really slow down too much with rapping. So did you notice that as well? Like did you notice like a kind of an influx of work during that time, or was it really hard to just to kind of get by week to week?
So at the very very beginning, everyone was stressing out, and then when I decided to start my business, before that I was an instructor for a mobile technical training school, which is in South Hackensack. So I was actually teaching kids how to rap. Well, not kids, adults, and they had different what's it called, backgrounds and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So when they were talking about the what's it called, shutting down all the businesses and stuff, it was very very hectic and scary.
Right.
Uh, but at the end of the day, they were also talking about how, like, oh, they're gonna give all these incentives, they're gonna give the stimulus checks, and then people that were, that had working, that were under W-2s and all that stuff, they were, hold on, give me 1 second. They were talking how they're gonna give these unemployment. They were gonna give us unemployment and all that stuff. So it was actually, I'm actually gonna turn on my camera right now. Sorry, I just got home. Sorry, how's it going? Um, so yeah, it was very scary, but we were gonna have all the unemployment. And then in New York, I was living in New York at the time, and that's how I managed to get a lot of clients because I had a lot of connections in New York. I had networked a lot. We got in New York, you got the unemployment check plus an extra $500. I don't know if it was everywhere else like that. So I managed to save up a lot by doing that. And then a lot of people were closing down, and they were telling me, it's like, yo, wrap my car, I need a wrap. People were paying $1,000 over the price just to jump on the line. That tells you how much work we actually experienced. Um, Not to mention the 6 feet apart stickers.
Yeah. Yep.
Everyone, I don't know any other shop that never did those. Matter of fact, all the shops that I go to freelance, they're commercial, I still see them to the day. It's like, oh, you were doing those too. Okay. What's it called? Everyone is afraid to go to these other malls and all that stuff. And they were like, would you want to do it? Yeah, I'll do it. Give it to me. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll just wear 3 masks or something. But, you know, no, COVID was actually a blessing for a lot of, if you knew how to take it and you knew how to manage it and you knew how to, go around it, it was a blessing for everyone.
So did you experience like a high or a peak there when you got first started? Did you like when did you come back down to earth? Like did it take a year or two before, or did you just kind of go up and stay there? Because a lot of times, like if you're going to go up and start out with a lot of business, like sooner or later you
Yeah,
got to come down, right?
you
Like you're gonna fall back to earth a little bit. Did you experience anything like that?
yes, definitely. Once everything stopped, once the stimulus check stopped, once the unemployment stopped and everything, everyone realized, shit, I had all this money and I didn't know what to do with it. So what's it called? It was kind of crazy because um it did stop a lot. And then with and I'll tell you this, and not to get into politics or anything, but once Trump's what's it called, term finished, we
Mhm.
started to experience the Biden administration, and a lot of the stuff was going, what's it called, up. And not to mention, alcohol was very, very, very high at that time. Everyone was struggling to get alcohol. I don't know if you remember that.
Mhm.
The way I got alcohol is, I don't know if a lot of people knew this, but beauty supply stores or beauty supply warehouses,
Okay.
they were selling alcohol. And I got to a point where, like, I was actually, shops near me, they were like, yo, how'd you get it? It's like, well, I'm buying it, from a place. And one of them was like, dude, don't tell anyone, just sell it on your own. So I was getting gallons for $17, and I was reselling them for like 35. It kind of sucks, but everyone needed them. So I was like,
Right.
okay, cool, here you go. So I was making a little profit here and there, and but after they started getting available and everything, um, then I was like, all right, well, just go here.
Right.
Um, the one thing that we experienced also, and it was bad, it was the shortage of vinyl.
Right. Yeah. I mean, everybody went through that, getting colors and things like that, just because of the PVC and all the
Yes.
plasticides that it takes to make them, makes the material. So yeah, everybody that was a pain point, I think, for everybody. It's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
can wrap your car. Yeah, I can do this if I can get the material.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
So
it called? A lot of the times, because in where I was at the moment, I had two. Well, at the moment there was three Fellers facilities. Now there's two in Jersey. There was three at one point, but now there's two. Um, but I was very, very close to all three of them. I was actually within the hour. So if
yeah.
one didn't have it, I would call the other one, and that might one have it, or the third one sure would have it. So it was within the hour, and it was crazy, but we managed to make it. We were offering the standard colors. Till this day, KPMF is still like a really sucky brand when it comes to colors.
Hmm.
What's it called? Because they barely have them, or they're so on demand that they go out of stock very, very fast.
Hmm. So how did you? So when you were getting started, you said you got lucky with your space. So you were able to find a spot relatively cheap. I'm assuming, yeah, especially where you are, 750 per month. I'm assuming what, one car? You said two cars? You
I
could
could
fit two
fit two
cars in
cars.
there?
The reason why I think I actually managed to get that price is because maybe the landlord was scared about the
Hmm.
fact that he wasn't going to have that ends meet to make his mortgage because he owned the building. So that's one of the reasons why I got it so cheap and affordable. At least it's like, all right, well, he's gonna help me. He did it within the 6 months. He did what's it called? Put the rent up to 1,200. So
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
was like,
S-
okay, this guy's making money. He could pay it. So
Right. So what made you decide to go out on your own? Like what made you decide to just like stop, working for someone else and go, you know what, finally, I can do this. I can do this on my own and I'm just gonna stick to it and go for it. What made you finally like just flip that switch?
a bad boss.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a really, really bad experience when it comes to like having a boss. Again, yeah, it was a bad boss. Don't get me wrong, as a friend, great guy, amazing guy, but it was just a bad boss. Um and I was listen, I don't mind working, I'll put in the work. But we were working from sometimes from 7 a.m. to like 2, 3 a.m. and do the same thing on repeat the next day. And it was like kind of like, all right, well, if we want to take Saturday, just give us Saturday. Or like it got to a point where like I asked them, I was like, hey, listen, on Saturday I was supposed to go in at 7 a.m. again. It's like, can I go in at 9, please? Just this once. Like I'm
Hmm.
I'm I'm burned out. And literally we were in the middle of the sun in New York doing some windows outside in front of the Airspace Museum, and it was like 97 degrees outside. So, I'm from Mexican ethnicity, so you can only imagine. I'm already dark, and I got darker. I got a farmer's baking at that point. So it was kind of like it's like, look, literally, I'm literally burnt out. I'm toasty right now. You can see it. It's like, no, you got to come in at 7. So I decided to come in at 9. He got upset, and I was like, you know what? This is a turning point. I'm sorry. I got to start on my own. It is what it is. I struggled. Don't get me wrong, for like 2, 3 weeks, almost a month. It was
Hmm.
hard, but you just have to make it happen if you really want to do it and pursue it.
So when you're going now, or most of your stuff, are you doing like, a car a week or whatever? Is it you how far are you booking out? Are you booking out like 3, 4, 5 months or weeks or whatever in advance and you doing a car a week
It
or what?
it depends. It goes by seasons, and then it depends on the what's it called on on the booking on how many cars that week when they get wrapped too. Because um just like me, there's a lot of other freelancers. Trust me, there is a lot of other
Mhm.
freelancers. So I do know a lot of other people that do freelancing as well. So like, let's say if I have two cars that want to get it done the same week, I'm like, hey, listen, if you want to help me out, I'll give you by the day, or how much would you charge me? It's like, okay, well, no problem. At one point, I'm guilty of this too. We felt like rock stars. You know, it's like, yeah, I'll charge you this much. You need help. So, but then it got lower, and then there's like as COVID went away and everything, you were able to manage to bring the pricing a little bit down. But it was hard, especially with all the competition nowadays. Everyone wants to be a rapper. Everyone's a YouTube rapper now.
Mhm.
Um, and I had that problem also when I was teaching. It's like, listen, whatever you saw, I don't know if you remember DK raps.
Mhm.
So at one point it was bad because DK raps, not to bring him down, he knew how to make it. He listen, I'll give it to him. He knew how to he knew how to what's it called? Use YouTube at that time, right? So YouTube was helpful for him. It really helped him a lot. YouTube was what's it called? His turning point for him, his pioneer is everything was big on him for YouTube, right? So, but the problem was with him is that he was doing it the wrong way with the material he was promoting. We all know Vivid sucks. Sorry, cancel me, Vivid. But that's just what it is, right? And everyone was hating on him at that point because he was trying to teach him certain things that you can't teach through a screen.
Mhm.
Let's just put it that way. Um, but I'll give it to him. He knew how to operate YouTube at that time, at a time where YouTube was everything.
I mean,
So
you could argue that it still is. I mean, it's all about appearances. I mean, have you ever heard that, there's no such thing as bad publicity?
yes,
So, that's one of the things. I mean, you know, it, someone could be not the best installer in the world, but it doesn't mean they're not a good businessman or a business
yes,
person.
yes,
So at the end of the day, if they're making money and able to provide for, them and theirs, like, is it really such a bad thing? I mean, I'm not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just, it just is, you
yeah,
know. I mean, there are plenty of people out there that have really good presences online
yes,
and but not great reputations when it comes to installations and vice versa. There are
yes,
some of the best installers out there that don't have any presence online because they don't need it,
yes.
so it goes both ways, right?
So what's it called? The problem right now is that um, I call it the TikTok brain.
Hmm.
It's easier to engage with what's it called, short term content
Oh
that
yeah.
it is with YouTube. So at the time, everyone had all the time in the world. Remember COVID? We're talking about COVID, right? Everyone had all the time in the world. Everyone had all the money in the world. Well, not all the money in the world, but you get what I'm saying. Like everyone's getting stimulus checks. Unemployment was everything. You didn't have to work, or if you were working from home, you were still getting money. So at that time, it was easier for people to go on YouTube and wanted to watch long term content. Right now, it's not the case. So that's what I'm saying. Like right now, to operate in YouTube, it's harder than it is because everyone wants to be an influencer. Now, with that being said, is it profitable? Yes, it could be. Um, is it the best thing to start off? Possibly, but there's a lot of algorithms that you got to hit at the point.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and I mean, if you're going to install, I mean, I've said it time and time again, you can't fake the squeegee strokes.
no,
You can't fake the work. You have to do the work. You have to lay vinyl. You have to get your hands on it. You have to cut it. Because if you don't, then it's going to show. You'll be able to, you can tell an amateur from a professional very easily.
yes, no, of
So,
course. What's it called? There's been times where like I don't know if you're an installer yourself, right?
mhm.
There's been times where like I don't know if at a certain point in your life, when you went to a job interview, they'll be like, okay, show me what you can do. Okay. cool, no problem. But there's also times where like you could talk about like materials and you would know the names of it, the codes, and the specifications of it. You just talk yourself into a job. And that's also like the difference between a what's it called, 1 year installer from a 10-year installer.
Oh yeah, the education and the knowledge behind it for sure,
Yes.
for
What's it
sure.
called? Even the vocab behind it. It's like
Hmm.
a lot of the times, like people that are just starting into this, they're always talking about, yeah, stretch it, stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. But technically speaking, yes, you can stretch it, but is it ideal to just stretch it in any other direction? No, it's not. You have to place it, you have to pull it, you have to guide it, you have to shimmy it, you have to, understand the vinyl. It's like this is a reference that Justin says all the time. You got to speak wrinkle at a
Hmm.
certain point in your life,
Yeah.
but you got to like know where the wrinkles go and follow them, get them away from this way, certain what's it called, techniques of pulling it, you know. I used to tell my students, don't use the word stretching when it comes to vinyl. Use pulling. There's a certain percentage that you have out of your 100%. You got to make sure you pull only 7%, so that way the material doesn't fail on you. Um, like all that stuff, and you just learn as you go.
Yeah, it's definitely an art form for sure. I
Yeah,
mean, there's
definitely.
it's a skill. It's a trade. It's a skilled trade for sure. And you don't get good at it by not doing it. You can't. It doesn't matter how many videos you watch or how many times you watch somebody do it. Installing vinyl, whether it be on a flat surface or a compound curve, it, you you can't just you can't fake it. You can't fake that time. So,
Yes.
and that's something that, I tell, the younger kids, some younger kids that I work with all the time. And I'm like, dude, if you really want to know how to do this, if you really want to know how to rap and really want to make a living out of it and get good at it, you can't just come into work one day, throw down some vinyl, and then not go home and reflect on what you did for the day or try to learn a new skill by watching the Rap Institute or, someone who has been there and done that before. Like you have to be
Yes.
continuously learning on and teaching yourself the skill or else you're gonna plateau and you're never gonna grow.
What I tell when people ask me, and I don't know if I'm giving them the right advice or not, but when people ask me, it's like, hey, what do I do so I can get myself involved into rapping and stuff? And I tell them, I was like, listen, so you can appreciate what it really takes to learn how to rap, do an internship.
Mhm.
Go to a rap shop and tell them, hey, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to be here. You don't have to pay me. Um, I wanna learn this. I wanna be useful to you, right? Sell yourself a little bit. Obviously, it is illegal to have someone working for free, right? Especially if you don't offer internship programs. Eventually the person that owns the shop is gonna say, hey, well, I'll throw you here and there something, you know? But you gotta have the initiative. So initiative is very, very big when it comes to learning how to rap.
Mhm.
And like I said before, I was going up to the guy, "Hey, I'll clean up for you." Like he would peel some backing paper out of like a fender, and I was there. I was like, "Hey, here, let me roll it up for you. I'll get it out for you. I'll clean your area, and then I would, I'll bring your tool cart to you. I'll bring all the materials to you. Alcohol. What do you want? Do you want me to clay bar? I'll clay bar it for you. No problem. Teach me the way. Show me the way, and then I'll do it for you."
Right.
And it was all based on initiative, and a lot of the times people lack that nowadays. And only
It's yeah, becoming a sponge. First of all,
yes,
putting yourself out there and surrounding yourself with what you wanna do. And that goes for anything. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's vinyl or
yeah,
or something else. You surround yourself with what you wanna be. You surround yourself with the people you wanna be around and who you wanna be like, and then you become a sponge and learn everything you can, and then put that put that information to use at some point.
yes, no, of course, that's just like everything in life. You gotta give, you gotta offer up value to give value in return, right?
Mhm.
Because if you always want value coming your way, eventually people are gonna be like, well, what are you offering me? So, and that's just the way it works. That's just the world we live in, unfortunately. But fortunately for a few of us, actually, it worked out. Um, I don't know how you started. when it came to rapping, but you probably have a similar story than a lot of us do. At one point we decided to it was cool, or we actually got fascinated. I'm telling you, I fell in love with that. I was like, I saw what it got involved and everything, and it got to a point where like I walked in and I was like, you gotta love the smell of the ink because we
Hmm.
were printing so much that at that time it was solvent. It wasn't eco
Yep.
solvent. It wasn't
Hmm.
latex. It was just pure solvent, and you had to let the vinyl rest for at least 24 hours before you
Hmm.
can actually laminate it, because
Yep.
otherwise the ink was too heavy on the material. It would be a nightmare trying to install something like that. Even
Yep.
though, in plain sight, it would look fine. As an installer, you'd be like, oh, well, this vinyl didn't marinate well enough for me to install. So it's
Hmm.
like one of those things that you go and you experience when you begin to. I remember the very, very popular color when it first came out was 3M satin black.
Oh yeah.
And it was like everyone wanted satin black. Till this day, there's no way you can go wrong with satin black. Obviously, this is how uh way back I started to go when I tell you that I used to install Arlon color change.
Right. Right. Which is
You remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
People now, you're just like, you remember the Arlon color change? Huh? Who's Arlon?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
my first one, I did my very first install was on a 2006 Scion XB. So the toaster. It's just a
nice.
box. It was a box. That car is a box, and it was a commercial wrap, and it took two of us about 3 or 4 days in about 90-degree heat in a parking lot. I
Oh shit.
mean, it was awful. We showed up at 8, we worked until 11 or 12 every day when it was until it got too hot to keep working because we
Yeah.
were on asphalt, and we went back inside, and then we would do something else for the rest of the day, and we would do it again because we were still learning. Like, I was
Yeah.
assisting the guy, like he was showing me what to do,
What to do?
and
Yeah.
he was trying to figure it out at the same time. Like, we were both, and I guarantee that car drove away and failed like as soon as it went out of the parking lot. I
10 minutes
almost
later.
guarantee it. But it is what it is. I mean, my the very first time I wrapped my car, it was with 3M Control Tack, matte black.
Oh.
So it wasn't even the 180 because it didn't exist
Yeah,
back
no, it,
then.
it, it didn't exist.
So and that was at a time when you saw a matte black car, like you knew it was something different
Yes.
because nobody was doing matte black in you know the 2010s. Nobody. And
No, no
so
one.
so I would drive around my town, and like they would be like, I saw your car, I saw your car, I saw your car, and it was just a matte black car. Now,
Yeah.
you know they're everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like, but it's timeless, like you said, like the satin black and the matte black. It's a timeless color that'll never go out of style. Murdering out your car is never going to go out of style.
No. To me, it's like a must have in your shop. Gloss black, matte black, and satin black. You need
Hmm.
to have those three no matter what in stock. You
Yeah.
need to have them because there's always going to be someone like, hey, can you do a crumble leaf for tomorrow? Or can you do a
Hmm.
crumble leaf real quick? Or can you do a roof wrap? The roof wraps are timeless too. Everyone wants to do the panoramic look.
Yeah.
It actually benefit everyone. The panoramic look benefit everyone.
Yeah, I do like the high gloss films now. I like to turn to the high gloss, or I like to at least try to upsell on the high gloss stuff,
Yes.
especially for the panoramic roof, for the roofs. It looks so much better once it's done, and if you ceramic coat it, then it's over. It looks like glass when you're done. If you want to go even further, obviously you're going to go PPF, but some people don't like to go that far.
Yeah, no, I like the what's it called, the gloss that they came out with 3M.
Mhm.
And the reason being is because they also have the cap sheet. So you
Yep.
can literally squeeze it as hard as you can. And you take it off and it's like, oh my God, it's brand new.
Yeah, I
Um,
actually just used the KPMF high gloss the other day on a project that I was working on, and their cap sheet, I will say, it's the worst cap sheet in the world. Their high gloss KPMF cap sheet it's awful. Like, it's
yes.
you can't wrap with it on. You have to take it off first, and to get it off, I mean, it was one of the hardest cap sheets I've ever had to remove ever in my life. Very difficult. I'm like,
Yes.
you know,
It's like having to do, I don't know if you work with tech wrap. Tech
Mm,
Rep does it all the time too. Like
yep.
the cap sheets is horrible. Inozotek is horrible. Cap sheets. A lot of people said that they have bad experience with Inozotek.
I've used an Inozotek once. I didn't like it, but it was because it was my very first time.
Yes.
I am of the belief that there's no such thing as bad vinyl. You just have to learn how to use it. I didn't know
Listen,
how to
I
I didn't know how to use an Inozotek. I had no idea. I still don't. I would love to give it another shot. But I wouldn't give it another shot by myself. I'm going like I'll go help somebody and learn a little
yes.
bit.
So
But
what I've learned from the Inozotek is that that material likes to shrink.
oh
So
yeah.
when so when you pull it and it goes and it grabs around an edge and you shrink it, that's it. It's there. But that's one of their main pretty much qualities. That the gloss in them is actually very, very good. I was impressed when they first came out. But the problem is that since you can't use the cap sheet, then it defeats the whole purpose of being the gloss because eventually, you know, no matter what, you always scratch it here and there.
hmm
So you can use all the soap and water you want. You can use all the um, best squeegees ever, and you can always you'll have here and there a scratch. So um, it doesn't really matter. Um, but it is what it is. A lot of people have bad experiences with Inozotek. I agree with you. It's not about the material because I guarantee you that if you take the Inozotek class, they'll actually guide you through it the right way. They'll
hmm
tell you exactly what to do and what not to do, and it's just about you learning how to wrap it.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like anything. I mean, even some of the other stuff, the vinyl frog and tiny bot and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a place in the market for everything. You just have to find what that place is. So, I mean, whether it be 3M, KPMF, Inozotek, it doesn't matter. There's somebody's going to want something, but as an installer, you can either accept the job and learn something new or say, you know what, that's really not my bag. I'll be totally honest with you. Never installed this
yeah,
before. I don't feel comfortable charging you X amount of money to install this because I don't know the quality is going to be like,
of course.
or
No, the one thing I learned, and I'm pretty sure a lot of installers have learned this, is when customers bring their own material, um, I don't offer warranty anymore.
Mhm.
And then I did one of those paradox wraps.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Listen, not to bash on him or anything else. Like I'm not trying to bash on him because he made his own following based on
Yep.
what he does. It sucks.
Yeah. And
It's
he's selling film though, he's making money. He's doing again,
yes,
that comes back to no bad, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
yes,
He's selling his own film, he's selling his own stuff, he's making money, he's doing his thing. He has found his niche in the industry. And good for him. Like
definitely.
and that's great. But as an installer, and that's and as a shop owner, you have to decide, am I going to accept a client's, material or not? Or am I going to say, no, you know what? I really prefer to work with XYZ and this is all I'm going to work with. So I've
That's
I've done that before too. I've done only one or two jobs where a client has brought me the film, but and the only time that I did it, it was for um I did it on a soapbox car, like a downhill, soapbox car.
yeah,
Guy like he was like, I already bought this lime green material. Can you put it on there? And I'm like, soapbox car, yeah, sure, let's do it. Turned out fantastic. Learned something new. He had plenty of, and I was just like, listen, if I mess this up, like I can't warranty it. Like if I mess it up, I'm not paying for it. Like got him to sign the contract, did everything right. And at the end of the day, he was ecstatic about it. Put a couple
yeah.
of details in there that he wasn't expecting and things like that. So that's the only time I've ever done it. And there was somebody else that once tried to. I bought some 3M 2080 vinyl off of Amazon. Can you wrap my car? Yes, but I don't want to use the vinyl that you bought. But why not? It's what you use. Well, it's not a whole roll.
Exactly.
He bought like 10 yards here and 5 yards here and like 3 yards here. Instead of just buying a
Oh,
whole
okay.
roll, it
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
like, it was one of those. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I don't, you know, I, what if something happens? What if, it's turned the wrong way? What if they're different batches and the colors don't match? I can't explain that to you. I can't guarantee that this panel is going to match this panel because I don't know if these rolls came from the same batch or not.
Yes.
So once you explain that kind of stuff, and again, that's the education of an installer and having the wherewithal to know that kind of thing. That's a 20-year installer or a 5-year installer versus a 1-year installer.
Yes. So the first time I had to explain that to a customer too, it was funny because he got upset with me. He's like, "Oh, you're just not trying to wrap my car. You're just trying to upsell me on your material. You're probably gonna make more money on your material." I was like, "No, sir, we don't make money on the material. The material is already expensive as it is. We
Mm-hmm.
make money on our labor, on our craft." It's like the reason why I don't want to take it is because it was one of those flip colors from Avery. So not only that, but just like you said, it's like, listen, I was like, let's just say I had to put in layman's terms. Let's just say this is batch 100, right? But then the next row is batch 3000. So you see the difference? It's like I don't know what batch number this is from this specific yards of material to this specific. Maybe you're lucky. I don't think so. And if you are lucky, you should go buy a lottery ticket right now because there's no way that you bought 10 yards today and then you're telling me that the following week you bought an extra 10 yards that they're going to be the same badge. It's like, and then when they're printed, I was like, nothing is perfect in life, not even machines. So maybe is a 0.01% die in this badge. This one has 0.02% or whatever, however they want to make it into the what's it called, the color code for their you know, again, quality control as well. Different people, one day I'm going to be in quality control and then the next day you're going to be in quality control. So your quality standards are different than mine, even though we're trained by the same person. It's like, whatever, I don't care this day. So it's one of those days. I was like, listen, we can't do it. We have to buy the roll, especially because it's color shift. We have to buy the full roll. That way we know that at least at that point, if we do flip the material, it's on us.
Mm-hmm.
If we flip your material, even if we don't want to flip it, then we can't warranty it because I'm not gonna pay for something that I'm already explaining to you. And customers, they get offended, they feel some type of way, they think that we're trying to make money on the material, but we don't really make money on the material,
Right.
especially nowadays. I remember when vinyl used to be 650, now it's almost 800.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those where like we it's already hard enough for us to try to upsell the vinyl as is, then make money on the vinyl.
Well, it
So
doesn't make any sense. It doesn't really make any sense to mark up your materials, incredibly a lot because they can go to the next shop over and get the exact same material.
pretty
So
much.
at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you put a small markup on it to cover the cost of you having to order it and accept it and that kind of stuff to cover the labor involved in it. But other than that, like anything more than that is just ridiculous.
You
Because
know who
again,
I blame?
anybody can go onto Amazon, anybody can go onto Metro Restyling or Fellers or
I
in this
was about to
point
say that.
and make an account and just and buy it.
Yes.
But again, larger shops are going to have better pricing because
Yes.
that is a thing. Um, but again, like, listen, if the roll costs $700 and I'm going to charge you 800 for it or 750 for it, like, you know what? That's fair because I took the time to order it. I know it's correct.
Yes.
I'm the one dealing with the manufacturer, or I'm the one dealing with the vendor if something goes wrong, if it's busted in shipping, whatever the case may be, like that's on me. So like someone's got to pay for that service. It's which is what
Yes.
comes with it.
No, that's actually what's it called? Completely true. Like I blame Metro Restyling because at the beginning, fellers, you had to have an account to
You
log in to
did.
see the pricing, right? And then obviously you can actually sell it as a, hey, listen, I get better pricing than you will. Let me buy them, sir, because I order on a daily basis. But now, and then people don't realize this that Metro Restyling is actually more expensive than Fellers. So they made it accessible for everyone, right? Everyone wants to buy their own material. Everyone is learning on cars that they're not supposed to. Um, and that's how you, that's also one of the parts that a lot of people got scared of wraps because they got it done by the YouTube rapper other than the 10 years of experience wrap shop, and there's like, well, I don't know if you still go through it, but there's still a lot of shops around here or a lot of startups that just to get the customer in the door, they charge $1,000, man. I've had people that tell me, it's like, hey, listen, there's a guy doing it for $1,000. I was like, okay, well, I don't, I was like, at
That's
that
great. Let them
at
go.
that point, I don't know why we're entertaining this at this point.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You have to, if someone wants to charge $1,000 or $1,500 to wrap a vehicle, that's fine. Go for it.
Yes,
And if a customer feels comfortable enough to take their car there and let that person work on it, by all means, because at the end of the day, like, that's not a customer that I want to deal with, because I know for a fact if you're going to nickel and dime me over $1,000, then what's to say that you're not going to nickel and dime me over every little detail on the car,
yes, and those are
the
the worst
buffer
ones.
scratch here or something like that. Like, you know what, that's the type of headache that you just don't need as an installer, especially when you're trying to run a business. Like, you don't want that customer. You want that person who's looking for that $1,500 wrap. You want them to go to your competitor.
Yes,
So congratulations, you found a $1,500 wrap. Go for it.
I literally tell them, like when I've got, I don't know if you remember, but I think they still do it. I used to send the link to Progressive to people because they have the name your tool, uh, thing.
Hmm.
That's their slogan or whatever they promote.
Hmm.
And you probably had these like, hey, I got $2,000, wrap my car. No, sir, it's not $2,000. Well, that's all I have. I was like, hey, listen, I got something for you. What's it called? Click this link and they'll send you to where you could pay. You can name your price. I was like, really? And as they go, it's like, this is insurance. I don't need insurance. Yes, they offer the name your price tool. You could tell them what you want to pay there.
Hmm.
Have a blessed day. And it
Yeah.
was it was funny at one point, but I don't know what's it called. At a certain time, I just tell them, I was like, listen, man, this is the price. Um, it is if you want to do it, let's do it. If don't, I'm sorry, but we shouldn't be entertaining this conversation anymore. And
Yeah.
people
And
get offended.
yeah, and if you qualify a person up front, I mean, I've gotten into the habit of asking a client, like what they're looking for and everything like that. But then I ask them if they have a budget. Like, do you have a budget
Yes.
that I need to stay within? If you have $1,500 that you want, I'll tell you what I can do for $1,500. And if you still want to go that route, like, we'll go that route. But if you don't, if that's your absolute, your line, then, and you want something more, I'm gonna be straight up with you. That's not something that I can do. I can't wrap this entire, you know, Dodge Ram quad cab for $1,500. I'm sorry, just not gonna happen.
Of course not.
Here's what I
No, I
can do for $1,500. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you qualify them. And the other thing I ask is, well, what is this worth to you? If you want your 2025 Dodge Ram quad cab wrapped in, Avery Rushing Riptide, which is a more expensive film,
yes.
um, what is it worth to you? If they say it's worth $2,000, then, oh, okay, that's great. It's worth $2,000. It is not worth $2,000 to me. Let's see if we can find a number that we can agree upon.
Yes.
So, because at the end of the day, something is only worth what someone's going to pay for it.
Of
Like,
course. I agree
you know what
100%.
I'm saying? So, if they don't think a wrap is worth $6,000 or $5,000, they're never going to pay it. Never. And there's no reason to try to sell them on.
Or the classic, the classic one that everyone's, it's just a sticker.
Mhm.
It's just a sticker. You just slap it on. how many times if I had a dollar for every single time I had that, it's crazy. It's insane. I'll be a millionaire, to be honest with you.
Well, that's
Um,
why that's why I named my company that what I did. It's Big Sticker because that's what it is. Like I'm
yeah,
installing Big Sticker. I call myself a Big Sticker installer because at the end of the day, like what is a wrap? Yeah, it is. It's a big sticker. And I ask people this all the time, like, what is a vinyl wrap? And they'll go, well, are we all right? Like bare bones, what is it? They go, it's a really big sticker. I'm like, exactly, it is a big sticker.
yes.
So it's going to come off in a few years. You need to realize that it's not paint. It's not going to last the life of the car. Sorry,
Yeah,
you know,
I go through the same what's it called process when it comes to like talking to customers. It's like, well, technically it is a big sticker, but it's an aesthetic sticker. What's it called? Mainly, and let's be honest, it's a luxury. It's when
absolutely.
it comes to the color change, it's a luxury. Let's not
Hmm.
you need it. No, it is a luxury. Let's just be honest about it. Now, when it comes to advertising for like plumbing companies or maybe well, a lot of restaurants, construction companies, landscaping companies, that is not a luxury. That's something that it's going to bring you money.
That's
So
marketing.
it's marketing, yes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I've had customers that own construction companies and tell me, it's like, yeah, but I don't want to spend too much. I was like, listen, my friend, at the end of the year, you write it off to Uncle Sam. Don't worry about it. You're gonna spend all this money in your company. You got to make sure that it's the right amount of money, obviously, but you also don't want to spend too little because obviously, if you spend $100 in marketing, well, you're only gonna get $20 in profit. If you
Hmm.
spend $3,000 in marketing, if you do it well, if you do it the right way, if you actually manage to pull it off, you'll get $9,000 out of that $3,000 investment, and that's just initially. Then that $3,000 investment can actually bring you $9,000 every month. So technically, you only paid once, and that's it.
Right on. Right.
Um, but a lot of customers don't understand that.
Yeah.
When it comes
Advertising
to
on your vehicle, wrapping your vehicle is the best advertising bang for its buck.
No, I'm
Period.
talking about like the luxury
Oh,
customers.
the luxury
Yeah,
versus the
yeah, like
advertising. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Nobody needs their car wrapped.
no,
I mean,
nobody does.
like I said, unless you're running a business and you need to advertise for your vehicle or advertise for your business. I mean, but in terms of color changing and things like that, no, like nobody needs it. It's definitely a luxury. Um, but it's one of those first world things that here we are and we're doing it. So,
And
you
it's
know,
and it's actually very big though, because I'm from Mexico, right? And I follow a lot in what's it called in Mexico. A lot of the companies that are like doing the color change and everything. And this one time I was in Mexico for 6 months. I bump into one of those, and it's hard for them to get one of these. I actually brought
hmm,
it, thinking about it. They have the aftermarket ones. Like us, Wrap Glove is like the best. I don't know about you, but to me, it's like the best. They actually they're never going out of business. What's it called? As long as there's wraps, there's never going out of business.
hmm,
What's it called? But um, no, they get the aftermarket ones. The 3M squeegees that we use here. I don't know which squeegee you use, but I my go-to is the 3M Gold squeegee. And what's it called? Obviously, it depends on the material too. But my go-to squeegee is 3M. Um, it's very expensive for them out there. They use a lot of aftermarket materials like TinyBot or rare occasions when people use hexes. Hexes is very big in there's actually hexes Americas. So they're
hmm.
actually very big in Latin America and South America, but they're very expensive. So we're talking about like a roll here is almost $1,000. Let's put it like that. In Mexico, 3M roll is like 20,000 pesos, which is a lot of money. So
Right.
that's when I realized in that little experience that I had that vinyl wrapping a car when it comes to color change, it's a luxury.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, and that was a moment, and I was still working for the company. That was a moment in time when I realized, like, well, I gotta learn eventually how to sell it to someone, and how to find the buyer that is actually gonna do it, and make sure that the one that it's not gonna do it doesn't waste my time. And it's very, very hard because you probably go through it a lot. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to actually separate the ones that are going to do it from the ones that are not.
Hmm.
But you need to have that initial engagement. And if you don't have that initial engagement, you'll never know who's going to do it and who's not. So it kind of does suck for you unless the customer says, "Hey, here's my money. Shut up and take my money." That's
Yeah.
different because they showed up to your shop. Like, hey, listen, I saw your reviews. I saw you on Instagram. Um, whatever. Take my money and shut up and take my money. Okay, cool, awesome. But other than that, you need to vet them, and the best way to vet them is just like you said. A lot of times, hey, listen, before we start this conversation, do you have a budget in mind where you want to be at? That way, I know where you're coming from, or have you shopped around? Have you asked shops around? What are the, tell me, talk to me.
Hmm.
Um, and that's how you get a rough estimate about not only the shops that are around you, what they're charging, but you also get to feel the client. It's like, okay, well, if he's really about to do it or not. The clients that are really about to do it, they'll tell you, yes, I've shopped around and I've gotten prices somewhere between $25 to $5,000, right? My budget is three. Can we keep it at that point, right? I was like, okay, but if you had 2,500, why didn't you go to that shop? It's like, well, they don't have enough cars on their page, or I still want to see if I can beat that price. They'll probably tell you, I want to see if I can beat that price, but my budget is $3,000. I was like, well, we're at 35 here. Sorry. Um, and then they'll be like, well, can you do three? We'll take it to you. And if you're in a good mood, sometimes they're like, all right, you look at your week, it's like it's not that busy, let's do it. But if you're in a point in time where, sorry, this is my little daughter's bus lady. But if you're in a point in time where, like, hey, listen, man, I'm very, very busy. I can't take it. The least I'll do is 33. And you give them that little discount, depending on the season too. Um, what's it called? They'll probably take it or not. They'll see your work, they'll see your page, and having an organized page too, or like having something that stands out in your page is actually very, very important.
Hmm.
Um, like in my case, I was at the Philadelphia Auto Show doing a live rap, right? We had a booth and everything, and a lot of people know me by that now. Like, hey, I saw you. I just seem familiar. I saw you at the Philadelphia Auto Show, right? So I was like, yeah, I was doing a live. Yes, I know who you are. Yes, yes. So stuff like that, where what's it called? Put you and separate you from other shops too. Now, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of competitors there, but they need to the people when they people see you doing something that intrigues them, um, they're like, okay, let me see we did different than others at the auto show is that we managed to let the people engage so they can have a taste of what rap is. So I took like some scraps. I was like my wife was what's it called engaging with like the young kids like
Hmm.
5 6 year olds. We had like gas caps and they were like rapping and we gave them like a little squeegee. We gave them like the authentic tools that we would use. We didn't give them a knife obviously because they're not
Right.
qualified to use a knife at that point. But we give them squeegee. We're guiding them through and it was actually a good experience and I guess that's what identified and separated us from the rest because they were all like yeah don't touch it, just watch us do it, let the
Yeah.
pros do it. But we will enter the mentality as in like we need to make sure that they understand how hard it is to
Yeah.
actually wrap a car
Yeah.
so that way they let the pros do it.
Yeah. 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 You definitely got to separate yourself that way. So we've been going for close to an hour. I just kind of want to finish up. You had already said I'm going to ask you a few questions. You've already said your favorite brand of squeegees, your 3M Gold, right? Do you have a favorite buffer
Yes,
that you like to put on that?
banana buffers.
Bananas. The wet or dry? The wet or the felt? The
The
bananas
yellow
are
ones.
the yeah, the
The
monk
yellow
so not
ones.
the yellow ones. So the
Yeah, the
bananas
yellow
are the
ones.
wet. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite brand of film to work with?
3M.
2080s?
When it comes to commercial, IJ 180. When
Yeah.
it comes to color change, because of the variety in colors, KPMF.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I love them. Their mats look like satins, or like sometimes they'll look like a satin chrome.
Right.
When you do the ceramic coating, they'll look like a satin chrome.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like the KPMF. My wife's pilot is wrapped in KPMF color. So Do you have a favorite knife in Blade Breaker? Like
Alpha Blade. Alpha
the
Blade.
Alpha?
Yes, the Alpha knife and
Yeah,
the blades, anti blades.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the yellow cartridge.
No, 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 no.
No.
The Alpha blade, the Alpha knife, like the metal one.
Oh, the red. Okay, like similar to the
Yeah.
red dot. Yeah, I
Yes,
got you.
yes, yes, yes.
The red dot.
And
Yeah,
then the anti blades, the pretty
I got
much.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You a heat gun or a torch guy?
I can do both, but I know when to use the torch and I know when to use the heat gun.
Yeah,
So with color change, I use the heat gun, and for commercial, I use the torch.
for speed. Are you reading anything right now? Reading anything to get that brain moving of yours?
So I do read and I do watch a lot of movies when it comes to like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm reading this. I'm like for the second time, I'm reading The Psychology of Money.
Okay.
So it's a really really good book, and also for like inspirational and motivation and have a little bit more discipline. I listen to David Goggins. Um,
Okay.
very very good. It's there's no way you can go wrong with David Goggins.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's other what's it called when it comes to like rapping. To be honest with you, I aspire to be like Joffrey, like from Netherlands,
Oh yeah. From what's he?
pro rap,
Pro rap? Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, the
Yeah.
way he does the knifeless tape, like to
Hmm.
me personally, I think he's,
Yeah. No. Top notch. Top of
you
the
know what I'm
game.
saying? What's it called? At one point, don't get me wrong, I kind of wanted to be like Justin Pate. Um, but then I was like, there has to be someone at a certain level that's a little bit higher than him. And then and you probably know this, as you go on and move along in the rap game, Justin Pate's a great salesperson.
He's a fantastic. I love Justin to death. He is. I consider him the Bob Ross of the rap world. It doesn't matter. He makes installing vinyl look incredibly easy.
Yeah,
And his demeanor is the same way. He's very zen about everything he does. And I've learned so much from him over the years. I love Justin to death. Um, so really good guy. I've never met Joffrey either. There's a few of them that I do kind of aspire to at least surround myself with. I I don't want to say, I want to be like anybody just because like at the end of the day, like it's all about kind of making your own road.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um but there are plenty of guys in the industry that I do aspire to be around and surround myself with just because like
The,
they're kind of at the top of their game.
the biggest person, honestly, that I learned a lot from, and honestly, I actually kind of like took a lot of knowledge from him was Neo from Indie Vinyls.
Okay.
In they're in Brooklyn, I think, right now. Yeah. So I'm telling you, that guy, he knows, man. He's I don't know if he doesn't like the attention as much as
Hmm.
Justin Pate, but if he actually wanted to, man, like I'm gonna keep it real, man. The guy knows a lot, and he's passionate about it.
Yeah.
What's it called? I did learn a lot from him. Um, But yeah, just like you said, we all gotta forge and make our own paths. So, but if do I aspire to be at a certain level is Joffrey Jeffrey? I forget his name.
I think it's
Um,
Joffrey.
Joffrey, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't want to mispronounce his name, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude, you're talking to the wrong guy about that. I'm awful at that.
what's it called? But yeah, no. Do I aspire to be at a certain level? It would be him. But yeah,
Yeah, he's something else. Yeah, he's on another level when it comes to his knifeless and his knifeless designs. So when
yes.
you're rapping and you need to get into a zone, what do you listen to, if anything?
Podcasts,
Yeah.
podcasts. Joe Rogan. Obviously, I don't know if you listen to them, but the Fresh and Fit podcast. What's it called? Some here and there. I used to listen to the Rap IQ
Hmm.
at one point, but what's it called? To be honest with you, I love what you're doing, man. I really, really do. I wanted this opportunity to talk to someone at a certain point. The Rap IQ had his few select here and there. He is who he wanted to talk to.
Hmm.
What you're doing, man. it's actually going to be a game changer because um, you're allowing people to platform on your time to actually engage with you and actually tell a story. That's exactly what you wanted because it's and I it's like when I heard the history when I saw the history of rap, I was like, and I saw what you were doing and you actually giving me the opportunity to be here. This is an opportunity for me, and I really really appreciate it. I was like, this guy is really really into this history of rap because he wants to know what everyone does and says from different backgrounds in life.
Mhm.
So, um, yes, I stopped listening to that because again, he has his favorites, and what you're doing, man. Please keep on doing it. Don't ever change, man. That's all
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask.
thanks. Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate it. I appreciate that. No, John Duver's one of my favorite people. Again, I love him to death. I talk to him quite often. He's actually kind of one of the guys that kind of inspired me to kind of do this. I mean, indirectly, but when he and Blake kind of stopped doing their rap IQ, I'm like, oh God, I think I need to fill the void now. We need something out there. And I love what Scott Decker is doing. He gets into and talks guys. God, he has such a long form podcast. He talks to his guests for 2 to 3 hours, which I think is fantastic.
yes,
Um, so Scott's doing something really good too. And even Brent Knott, he has rap shop talk. But his stuff is just on YouTube, as far as I know. But some of the
yeah.
stuff that he's talking to people about is fantastic. So, but yeah, my whole goal is to just talk to, normal everyday people, kind of see where they've come from, where they've been, how they got into it, where they're going, things like that. I just like talking to people, and that's kind of my goal. It's just to talk to people and just that's it. Network,
Listen,
talk to people, and just move on.
listen, man. Keep doing it. Everyone has a story, and like I said, what you're doing, it's actually very, very, very um good. A lot of people are gonna appreciate it. And listen, you've earned my respect, man. And we don't even know each other in person. Um, because no, listen, no one has ever given me the opportunity to talk about rap like you have. So, and I know that there's a lot more people like me that they have a voice, they want to be heard,
Mhm.
because, um, we all go, if you pay attention, we all go almost to the same struggles in life when it comes to rapping. Obviously, some people, I know some people paid. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say, what's it called? Sorry about that. I wouldn't say that I know, but because I know a lot of people that uh used to be in, because I said I used to be an instructor, they used to pay 3,500 per student.
Mhm.
And people were like, like I was lucky enough that I didn't pay, but people that do pay for it, they also have a story. They also have something to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much, man. Thank you. I appreciate it on behalf of everyone else. That I know you're gonna have a lot of success with this podcast, and hopefully we get to meet in person, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So before we get off, just tell everybody again who you are, what's your shop name, and where they can find you.
So my name is Alex Garcia, guys. I own New Age Customs. You can find us in Philadelphia, and I'm actually partner up with um, a shop called um, Custom Quick Course. So Um, we also have a nonprofit organization that it's called Turning Gears into Success, and we're trying to help kids stay out of trouble, and I'm teaching them how to rap as one of the things that they can actually do. So we don't charge them at all. Like I said, it's a
Awesome.
nonprofit, and we just want to give back to the community as much as we can. Um, but yeah, that's it.
Awesome. That's great, man. So, fantastic. I appreciate you coming on and talking to me for a while. Even though, I didn't see you for a little bit.
Yeah,
So driving in the car, that's okay. So no worries about that, man. So, um, looks like you got your hands full there behind you with your kids. And so you take care of them and do what you need to do. And, hopefully, stay in touch. You got my contact information, and we'll We'll talk soon, I hope.
Sounds great, man. Thank you so much. Whenever you upload this, send me the link.
Will
I want
do.
I want to see myself. And I'll
All
post the link in my page and we'll go from there, man. Thank you
right,
so much again.
all right, man.
Bye.
All right, Alex. Have a good night. See ya.
You too, man. Thanks.